But, Project 2025 wants to get rid of NOAA, wants to get rid of the National Weather Service, the people that tell you the weather and help us prepare for hurricanes. So I say that as a former director of emergency management for the state of Florida, for a Republican governor, actually, who responded to hurricanes. Maybe once we get rid of it, if Project 2025 were to succeed, if Trump were to win, maybe we'll just do it with a magic 8-ball, or maybe with a Ouija board, or maybe we'll do hurricane cones like President Trump did, right? Where he just, circled in another state that wasn't in the cone. So maybe what we'll do is we'll do hurricane predictions, like maybe it'll go to Mississippi, maybe it'll go to North Carolina, or maybe it'll go to all three. Oh, look, I made a smiley face. Maybe that's how we'll do the weather. I could see it right now, right? Trump would come out and say, it's going to be raining cats and dogs today. Please don't eat them.
That was Florida Congressman and Democratic star Jared Moskowitz doing what he does best, and that is calling out Donald Trump. And later on in this series of clips out of an incredible hearing from Jared Moskowitz today, we see him absolutely ripping into James Comer. And of course, we are excited to see Jared Moskowitz back in action, but James Comer certainly wasn't. As you will see later in this video, he kind of just dies inside, knowing that he has to be back in Congress, has to be back being mocked again for his sham impeachment attempts, for the lies that MAGA is pushing right now on behalf of Donald Trump. He's not having a good time, but I promise you will enjoy Jared Moskowitz absolutely ripping him to shreds, and we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, it always goes a long way in supporting our channel and just means the world to me. Now let's get into this next clip of a really funny clapback from Jared Moskowitz.
Mr. Chairman, I'll begin by pointing out that Hunter Biden is going to be sentenced on December 16th.
Hunter Biden's not the
and
president.
I bet you money he's going
to... You need to take your medication and leave. Chair recognizes Mr. Timmons.
Mr. Chairman, you're several decades older than me. We know who's taking more medication.
All right.
James Comer must either really like lying or he must really like getting humiliated in public, because that is what happens in most of his days in which he is in Congress. I don't know why he continues to try to challenge Jared Moskowitz. I think Jared Moskowitz is like 852-0 against James Comer in these hearings. So I don't know what part of him, what part of his brain is encouraging him to continue to try to push back or take a jab at him, because it always just backfires like it did there. Oh man, it's just great stuff. And Jared Moskowitz got to hit on his favorite topic. It wasn't just mocking James Comer for a couple of pills that he may have to take, but it's also him talking about his sham impeachments. Yes, of course, MAGA now more than ever is trying to distract as much as they can from the substance of this race, get our attention away from Donald Trump's failed policy, his dangerous Project 2025 agenda. They want to focus on some obscure conspiracy or make something up about the Biden-Harris administration. And Jared Moskowitz, as he does best, took them to school on their sham impeachments, called them out, and a clip I just want to see.
But the name of this committee today is Failures and Incompetencies. So let's talk about the big Knish, right? The chairman's failed impeachment. Let's remember, we misplaced an informant over a year ago, couldn't find him, didn't know where he went. Another informant was indicted for providing false information that came from Russian intelligence. We used a second informant who was turned out to be an indicted Chinese foreign agent. And to top it off, the chairman was like, who could we find to make it even better? Maybe we could get someone to testify from prison, which actually we did here on Zoom. Here is the chairman's 300-page book report on impeachment. He said in his release, "It is the strongest case for impeachment of a sitting president the House of Representatives has ever investigated." Wow, that sounds pretty serious. So I want the chairman to show the American people that we didn't just waste millions of taxpayer dollars to issue this book report. Mr. Chairman, the speaker is watching. You could call for impeachment right now, right? We got a little bit of time left before the election. I mean, just ask the speaker. You could ask the speaker right now, or talk to him. Like, when are we going to schedule impeachment? Or is this just concepts of impeachment? Right? No? Okay. Well, I mean, here's the thing.
As we saw at the beginning of this video, Jared Moskowitz hit on it so perfectly. This is all just a distraction MAGA never had any intention of bringing articles of impeachment against President Biden or Vice President Kamala Harris, because what were they going to do? What crime, what high crime or misdemeanor did they commit? What was their failure in office? This was all a distraction. It was all a ploy to move media attention, and so they're trying to do it again now. But they don't want to go forward with it. They never do. That is all that MAGA is about. It is complain without action, have grievance, and don't get anything done. That's their MO. That's what MAGA is about. It's in the handbook. That's where they start. Hypocrisy, grievance, and failure to do anything. And I'm so glad that Jared Moskowitz is calling that out. But of course, he also called out the very specific example we see that is most clear of these distractions that MAGA is trying to push with their lies and conspiracies. And that is Donald Trump's lies that there are people eating pets in Springfield, Ohio, that geese are being taken out of parks. Yes, this wild conspiracy is Donald Trump's attempt to distract from his failure, and it was perfectly called out by Jared Moskowitz right here.
Yes. I mean, literally 2 weeks ago, right, all we heard was about what the Haitian people were doing in Springfield. But no, the chairman wanted to top that. He literally brought a witness who proffered in this committee that the Haitian people would have been better off had they stayed in slavery for several more decades. Mr. Chairman, I want to spare you the embarrassment. You should strike his words from the record. No, you stand by his comment that the Haitian people would have been better off in slavery for 30 more years? Or should we strike that from the record? I just want to spare you that embarrassment. Okay, so the chairman...
All right, your time's expired.
It is so funny to me that we are 47 days out in this race, and we have Kamala Harris barnstorming swing states. I always talk about how important it is that she is in Georgia, but also expanding the map in North Carolina. And after the recent story that just came out today about the GOP nominee for governor in North Carolina, Mark Robinson, who said insane is not the right word. The ways he described himself as a black Nazi are absolutely disgraceful, and it is a perfect representation of the GOP. But that is the current state of Kamala Harris's campaign, going all across the swing states, sharing the positive message, a joyful warrior. And what is Donald Trump doing? He's making up lies and conspiracies about cats and dogs, and the messaging of MAGA at large is what? His confusion, his anger, his grievance. Melania is talking about her nude modeling career for some reason. They have no message. They have no direction. All they have is attempts to distract. And of course they'd want to. Kamala Harris and President Biden were hugely successful during their administration. Donald Trump was an abject failure. That contrast is something they don't want people looking at or paying attention to. But of course, the surrogates for the Kamala Harris campaign are doing such a great job talking about it. We are trying to every day on this show, but someone who always does it best is Pete Buttigieg, and I want to check that out right here.
Also, economists, really credible economists, saying there was basically a 100% chance of a recession coming. And instead, what we have is economic growth, low unemployment, and maybe most importantly for American families, we've made such enormous progress getting inflation back down. Every developed country in the world experienced a rise in prices. The U.S. was not immune to that, but what was different in the U.S. is how quickly it's been fought back down through a number of different measures, including, of course, investing in American supply chains. And that focus on everyday costs and prices for Americans, on everything from big picture industrial strategy to things like fighting junk fees in the transportation sector where I work or across our economy. That's part of what you're going to continue to see a focus on for the rest of the president's term in office.
Our economy is booming. We didn't just recover from COVID. We bounced back better than any country. Like Pete Buttigieg said, it was an 100% chance, it seemed, that we would see a recession under the Biden administration because of the conditions of a post-COVID world that was so destroyed by Donald Trump and his complete mishandling of the pandemic that, yeah, we thought that there would be some struggles, and of course there were. But because of the leadership of President Biden and the leadership of Vice President Harris, we got through it stronger than any other nation in the world, because as much as Donald Trump would like to disagree and attack America, the Biden-Harris administration believes that we are an exceptional country and that when we work together, there's nothing that we can't do. That is the joyful message that Kamala Harris is bringing forward about governing. Donald Trump wants to be angry and aggrieved, and Kamala Harris wants to say that governing is difficult. Solving these issues are tough. But when we do it together, we can be successful. And she's proven that out. We've seen it time and time again, investing in infrastructure, investing in American manufacturing, lowering prescription drug costs. We have had success under the Biden administration that we can continue in a joyful and exciting way that looks towards the future if we don't get caught up in the distractions of Donald Trump. And we're not going to be doing that on this show. We're going to be calling it out every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, shoot me a hello in the comments and drop a blue heart. And if you want to go an extra step further in supporting our show, as always, you can click that join button and become a monthly member. As a college student, doing this show out of my dorm, working real hard every single day, it really goes a long way. And until next time, I'll see you soon.